Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Physics Unveiled. Today, we are going to discuss about a very important topic of class 11 physics, that is about the dynamics of circular motion. In our last chapter, where we have discussed about the kinematics of circular motions, where you have understood certain terms, like if a particle is moving in a circle, suppose this is a particle and it's moving in a circle, then there could be two scenarios. First, in which the speed of particle is constant, and in another case when the speed of particle is variable. If the speed of particle is constant while moving in a circle, then it is called uniform circular motion. Uniform circular motion. And if the speed of particle is not constant, then it is called non-uniform circular motion. However, in both the cases, you can see the velocity is changing because the direction of velocity is changing in both the cases. Another thing that we have studied in our last topic, that the total acceleration of the particle while moving in a circle is the sum of two types of acceleration. First is called tangential accelerations and radial acceleration. Tangential accelerations acts in the direction of tangent. Direction is along the tangent to the circle, whereas the radial acceleration we proved it is always towards the center of circle. We further studied that tangential acceleration can be written as nothing but it's a change in speed of the particle, or in terms of angular acceleration, it may be defined as r into alpha. Whereas the radial acceleration, as we have derived in our last classes, is equal to v square by r or omega square r. Okay. So the net acceleration of the particle we defined, if we just want to find out the net magnitude, it was also derived as at square plus ar square, because at and ar are both perpendicular to each other. Okay, so this we all have studied. Now, in this particular topic, we are going to discuss about the dynamics of circular motion. So, topic of the day, topic is about cause of circular motion. In short, we need to understand about the force which acts during circular motion. Let circular motion as Cm. Okay, so let us start this topic, keeping view of dynamics involved in it. So as let us consider the case first as the speed is constant. So if the speed is constant, we know that at will be d by dt of magnitude, which will be 0, but ar will be v square by r. So the net acceleration of particle is equal to at square plus ar square, which is nothing but ar, that is v square by r, and it must be acting towards the center of circle. In this case, let's draw this. This is the direction of at, this is the direction of ar, and this is the net acceleration a. Okay, this angle is 90 degrees, so using vector law of additions, we may calculate this. Now, if there is an acceleration which is acting towards the center of circle, then if we need to find out the whenever whenever acceleration is not equal to 0, from Newton's second law of motion, there has to be some force. So force acting on the particle is also not equal to 0. Now force for a constant mass particle, we may write as F into ma. So in this case, we may write it as mv square by r. And this force will act towards the center of circle. So this particular force is called centripetal force. Clear? So as we know, Newton's second law of motion is defined from an inertial frame of reference. So F is always viewed from inertial frame of reference. It is applicable when we define the motion from an inertial frame. Then you may ask here, in the real life scenarios, when the particle is accelerating, or whenever we are observing a motion from accelerated frame, will centripetal force ceases to 0? No, there is some other kind of forces, and which we are going to discuss in the later half of this chapter. Okay, so right now let us focus about the centripetal force. Okay, so far it is clear. I think if you have any doubts, please raise your hands, or you can post your comments on our videos, post the recording of this session. Okay, so we'll be happy to help you in that. So let's move ahead. Now, what is happening? Let's understand. So if acceleration is v square by r, force is mv square by r, and it is acting towards center. Then one may ask, is centripetal force a new kind of force? So let us understand this. Okay, suppose there is a ball tied to a thread, and this ball is moving in a vertical circle. Okay, so suppose at some instant the ball is at this point P. If we just draw the free body diagram of this particle, what will be there? There will be a tension. Mg will be acting downward. So from this diagram, what is the force that is acting towards the center? Obviously tension. Tension is acting towards center. So in this case, tension equal to mv square by r. Whatever the force that acts towards the center is our centripetal force. Suppose the particle is at lowest position at this point. This is at point P. Suppose this is point Q. And now in this direction, the tension will be here, and mg is here. So for point Q, it will be T minus mg is equal to mv square by r. Okay, suppose the particle is at point R. In this direction, tension is also acting in this direction, and mg is also acting in this direction. So this is at point Q. Now for the vertical position, it will be T plus mg equal to mv square by r at point R. So you should understand the force which is acting towards the center is our centripetal force. Now whatever the force that could be, it will be T plus mg, it will be T minus mg, it will be T, only T. So you need not you just need to understand only one thing, that centripetal force is the force that acts toward the center. So we'll just draw the free body diagram, and whatever the force that will be acting toward the center is our centripetal force. I hope it is clear. So from here only you can see that tension at the lowest point will be higher. So from above free body diagram, tension at Q will be greater than tension at R. Okay. So if we just arrange this, it will be greater than this. It will be greater than P. It will be greater than R. Tension on ball at different points of vertical uniform circular motion. Let us take few more example. Okay, so that your concept about the centripetal force becomes absolutely clear. Suppose there is a circular turn. Okay, and the radius of the circle is suppose R, and this is the particle, and this is moving in this direction with constant speed. V is constant. Suppose a vehicle is moving in a circular turn of radius R with no slipping. Now, normally what will happen if the particle is moving, suppose the particle is at this particular point, so it will have a tendency to fly off in this direction. Okay, but it is making a turn in this way. So there will be a tendency of this wheel to slip sideways. But since there is no slipping, that means there has to be some force. So the force between the tire and surface will be of two nature, will be of two kinds. Since vehicle is moving forward, so it will be rolling in this direction. So there will be a rolling friction. We'll talk about this rolling friction in later half of our class 11 chapters physics, that is in rotational dynamics. But right now we just understand, and there will be a sideways slipping, the screeching sound that you have heard. Okay, now this way is slipping. Now since the tire is not slipping, that means a static friction force will act. Okay, this force will be a static friction force. समझ में आ रहा है? अगर ये टायर ऐसे ऐसे साइड में जब ऐसे ये टर्न मारेगा तो हो सकता है गाड़ी की टेंडेंसी रहेगी बाहर जाने की, लेकिन गाड़ी चूंकि बाहर नहीं जा रहा है, वो रुका हुआ है, दैट मींस इस टायर और रोड के बीच में स्टैटिक फ्रिक्शन फोर्स काम करेगा जो कि इसको बाहर जाने से रोक रहा है. ये स्टैटिक फ्रिक्शन फोर्स की जो वैल्यू हमने पढ़ रखी है, जिसकी वैल्यू जो होती है लेस देन इक्वल टू म्यू एस एन होती है. अब अगर इसको अगर ड्रॉ करें तो नीचे mg होगा और नीचे से ऊपर एक फोर्स काम करेगा नॉर्मल. तो अगर इसको हम ये करें कि fs जो है, fs का डायरेक्शन किधर हो रहा है, fs का डायरेक्शन हो रहा है टुवर्ड्स सेंटर ऑफ सर्कल. सो हम लिख सकते हैं कि fs इज नथिंग बट द सेंट्रीपिटल फोर्स बिकॉज इट इज एक्टिंग टुवर्ड्स द सेंटर, एंड दैट इज नथिंग इक्वल टू बट mv स्क्वायर बाई r. तो मैं इसको लिख सकता हूं कि mv स्क्वायर बाई r इज नथिंग बट लेस देन इक्वल टू म्यू एस n, where mv square by r is nothing but equal to mu s mg. Now mm cancel, so v is less than equal to mu s rg. So the optimum value of v for no slipping will be mu s rg. So at this particular velocity of vehicle, the vehicle will not slip sideways. Okay, clear? Any doubt? But suppose if the vehicle is if the speed of vehicle is greater than v max, in this case there will be a tendency of vehicle to slip sideways, or it may topple as well. So that we have to discuss in when we'll study about the rotation and torque, etc. Then I'll again touch this subtopic, that how friction plays a very important role, how center of gravity plays an important role in in maintaining the stability of a vehicle while moving through a circular curve. Okay, so let us understand. But here we can see that the velocity is depending on mu s. So if the road is, suppose if road is wet, or if it is frictionless, in that case we will find it hard to make a turn. So in case of slippery road, mu s will be less, so vehicle will find it hard to make a turn. So what is the solution? How we will become independent of friction? So that we have to need to understand now. अब देखिए, आप लोग देखा होगा बहुत टाइम पे जब बेसिकली कर्व बनाते हैं तो कर्व को थोड़ा बेंट बनाते हैं, मतलब कर्व में थोड़ा सा इंक्लिनेशन होता है. सोचिए कि ये लोअर एंड ऑफ रोड है, ये हायर एंड ऑफ रोड है, तो कर्व थोड़ा सा ऐसा होता है. ओके, तो ये एंगल ऑफ बैंकिंग हो गया. दिस इज कॉल्ड एंगल ऑफ बैंकिंग. और ये जो है आपका बैंक रोड है. तो अगर मान लीजिए यहाँ पे आपका सेंटर ऑफ सर्किल है, सोचिए यही वाला सेंटर ऑफ सर्किल है, और ये मेरा व्हीकल है, तो व्हीकल ऐसे रहेगा. ठीक है, अब इस पे नॉर्मल ऐसे काम करेगा. ओके, mg नीचे काम करेगा. इसको थोड़ा साफ ड्रॉ कर लेते हैं, अच्छा रहेगा अंडरस्टैंड करने में. ये थीटा हो गया, जिसमें व्हीकल मेरा ऐसे है, जिसमें mg इधर काम कर रहा है. ये नॉर्मल ऐसे काम कर रहा है. अगर इस नॉर्मल को मैं डिवाइड कर दूं तो ये थीटा हो जाएगा. ये हो जाएगा n cos थीटा, ये हो जाएगा n sin थीटा. सपोज इसमें कोई फ्रिक्शन नहीं है, इसमें कोई फ्रिक्शन माने ये साइडवेज स्लिपिंग नहीं कर रहा है, तो फ्रिक्शन नीचे काम कर रहा होगा. जैसे उसमें पहले नीचे काम कर रहा था, ये स्टैटिक फ्रिक्शन काम कर रहा होगा. तो अगर ये स्टैटिक फ्रिक्शन है और ये अगर हम इसको ऐसे ड्रॉ कर दे तो ये भी थीटा होगा. तो ये फ्रिक्शन fs cos थीटा होगा अगर ये थीटा है तो. और ये वाला इस तरफ क्या काम करेगा? इस तरफ काम करेगा fs sin थीटा. fs sin थीटा. तो देखिए इस केस में क्या है कि n sin थीटा प्लस fs cos थीटा सेंटर की तरफ काम कर रही है, ये दोनों फोर्स. तो ये दोनों फोर्स का वैल्यू जो होगा mv²/r होगा. ठीक है, सपोज r इज द रेडियस ऑफ सर्किल, इसमें मूव कर रहा है. और n cos थीटा का वैल्यू क्या होगा? n cos थीटा का वैल्यू होगा fs sin थीटा प्लस mg. ओके, अब हम इसको fs का वैल्यू क्या है? fs का वैल्यू तो हम लोग जानते हैं कि लेस देन इक्वल टू म्यू एस एन है. इसका मैक्सिमम वैल्यू, fs का मैक्सिमम वैल्यू हो जाएगा म्यू एस एन. इसको अगर हम यहाँ पुट करते हैं तो ये हो जाएगा n कॉमन sin थीटा प्लस म्यू एस cos थीटा डिवाइड बाई n ले लेते हैं तो ये हो जाएगा cos थीटा माइनस, अगर डिवाइड करते हैं तो माइनस म्यू एस sin थीटा इज इक्वल टू mv²/r, और इधर डिवाइड हो जाएगा mg से. n कैंसिल, अगर इसको डिवाइड करें cos थीटा से तो हो जाएगा tan थीटा प्लस म्यू एस माइनस 1 माइनस म्यू एस tan थीटा इक्वल टू हो जाएगा v²/rg. तो v के वैल्यू अगर हम करें तो v की वैल्यू हो जाएगी रूट अंडर rg म्यू एस प्लस tan थीटा minus 1 minus mu s tan theta. Suppose if no sideways slipping, no sideways slipping, and नो साइडवेज स्लिपिंग। तो इन दैट केस कोई साइडवेज किसी भी तरह का टेंडेंसी, नो टेंडेंसी ऑफ साइडवेज स्लिपिंग रहता है, नो टेंडेंसी ऑफ साइडवेज स्लिपिंग। सो एफएस का वैल्यू क्या हो जाएगा? 0, बिकॉज जब आपका कोई साइडवेज स्लिपिंग का टेंडेंसी नहीं है, कोई फिसलने का चांसेस ही नहीं है, या फिसल के कोई मैंने उसका कुछ दिख ही नहीं रहा है, तो स्टैटिक फ्रिक्शन फोर्स क्या होता है? 0 होता है, क्योंकि स्टैटिक फ्रिक्शन फोर्स तभी लगना चालू हो जाए कोई एक्सटर्नल फोर्स होता है। अगर इसमें कोई टेंडेंसी होती तो उसको रोकता। तो अगर इस केस में अगर हम म्यूएस का वैल्यू में 0 करूं, इफ म्यूएस इक्वल टू 0, तो v की वैल्यू क्या हो जाएगी? v की वैल्यू हो जाएगी rg tan थीटा। तो देखिए यहां पर जो है वेलोसिटी rg tan थीटा, जबकि वहां स्ट्रेट रोड में क्या था? म्यूएस rg था। तो मतलब यहाँ पर किसी भी हालत में फ्रिक्शन पर डिपेंड कर रहा था, लेकिन यहाँ पर सिर्फ एंगल ऑफ बैंकिंग पर डिपेंड कर रहा है, थीटा पर डिपेंड कर रहा है। ठीक है। और अगर मान लीजिए कि थोड़ा सा साइडवेज स्लिपिंग टेंडेंसी है, इफ देयर इज ए टेंडेंसी ऑफ साइडवेज स्लिपिंग, तो जब साइडवेज स्लिपिंग का टेंडेंसी रहेगा तो फ्रिक्शन प्ले आएगा। इसका मतलब वेलोसिटी की जो वैल्यू होगी वो लेस देन इक्वल टू टोटल आरजी म्यू एस प्लस tan थीटा माइनस 1 माइनस म्यू एस tan थीटा होगी। ठीक है। तो ये हो गया बैंक रोड में विथ फ्रिक्शंस, विदाउट फ्रिक्शंस आप वेलोसिटी, ऑप्टिमम वेलोसिटी आप निकाल सकते हैं। ठीक है। तो लेट अस ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड समथिंग मोर। एक चीज और देखते हैं हम लोग। आप देखते होंगे कि जैसे मान लीजिए कि कुछ ट्रक्स हैं। एक आपके लिए छोटा सा क्वेश्चन ड्रॉ करता हूं, अगर आप लोग सॉल्व कर पाए तो मुझे जरूर बताएं। ये ट्रक है, तो ये ट्रक की जो एवरेज लोड कैपेसिटी है मान लीजिए 9 टन है। तो आपने 9 टन का इसमें सामान डाल दिया और ये ट्रक चल रही है। आप देखते होंगे जब यही ट्रक में बड़ा सा सामान डाल देते हैं, बहुत बड़ा सा, सोचिए ऐसा कंटेनर डाल दिया कुछ भी, और इस ट्रक को बोलते हैं सर्कुलर टर्न लेने के लिए, और इस ट्रक को बोलते हैं सर्कुलर टर्न लेने के लिए। तो which truck will have a tendency to topple easily while making a circular turn of radius r? Okay, so post your answer with proof. Post your answer with proof. We'll wait for one day and then we'll post the answer of this particular problem. So again, I'm asking you, there is two type of truck. One truck is having lighter, one truck having loads of less height, another truck having a container at the back side of it. It is too big in height. Which truck will have a more tendency to topple easily while making a circular turn? So I think it is very easy for you to answer it. Please answer it and we'll be happy to help you. Okay, so with this, we have touched the topic of dynamics of circular motion. That is about the centripetal force. Now let us try to understand about the centrifugal force. Where the centrifugal force will act, where the centripetal force will act, we need to understand this now. Okay. I think it would be better that if we understand about the centrifugal force in our next classes, so that it doesn't put too much pressure on your mind right now. You just post the solution of that particular problem which you have just shown before you about the toppling cases, and if you could solve it, well and good. Otherwise, we are going to post a solution for this. So with this, we are finishing the session of today, and this is about the centripetal force. And our last session will be discussing about the centrifugal force, and post that we'll be solving few numericals about circular motion. So stay tuned. I know that we are keeping certain gaps between posting our videos because of our engagement, various engagements, but that doesn't mean that we don't care for you. We are very much aware that you guys are liking my channel, and you are definitely utilizing a lot of things out of it. But still, I can see from the stats that many people just watch our channel, but they don't subscribe it. So I'll just request to those guys, please subscribe our channel so that it comes to your such suggestions more often, and you can watch our videos and get benefited out of it. So thank you for your support so far, and I expect that more support will come from the fraternities of students, so that they can also get benefit what other fellows are taking right now. Okay, thanks and have a great day.